How does an empowered woman find meaningful connections? Well, I'm trying to share. We love a challenge with our nervous system. That's because you have a whole 1 year old. Let me share. We learned about radical acceptance. It's not you projecting. Nope. Okay, so my 1 year old is a conscious, independent lover, and so it's definitely always an opportunity. An opportunity. I'm also 5D mystic. Remember that. So I'm bringing you the infinite higher human conscious potential experience, and that's in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. No laundry here. Okay, so it's a restored embodiment, integrated brain, all hands on deck. So when you're an empowered woman, meaningful relationships. So you will you'll know how to talk, and you'll know how to talk. When we know how to keep on pausing, it's a good thing because you get to recalibrate. What's recalibration? Well, it's called let me remind myself, who am I talking to right now? Okay. What am I talking about? Okay, now let me, before we keep going, I am a person who gets the honor to share Oversoul sometimes, Twin Flames, Soulmates, no saga and no drama, thanks to that integration in 1 year old. So the longing to be seen, nope, don't need it. Longing to be soothed, nope. Longing to be safe, nope. To be secure, nope, not with another, because I'm my own secure attachment whole self. When you have secure attachment, that's where the poly secure people come on over. So we have compersion because envy, jealousy, spite, low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive aggressive, shame, blame, fault, revenge, all that. It's all for Cuscos that have not done personal development, self-help at all. They don't even care to because they're misanthropists at the very least. I hate humans. It's like mistrust. Oh, they did all that, and they're all so once there's post-traumatic growth people, they'll join us too because it's emotional awareness, accountability, and thoughts. So we know, not irrefutable facts, not at all. It's my subjective experience and yours, and we get to have fun. Okay, so meaningful life for empowered women, men, and days is this. So we get to talk about all of it. Our nervous system doesn't get into this. And if it does, here's where with those meaningful relationships. So here, empowered women will say, well, I'm a little agitated. Yep, I definitely will need to just pause right now. So we get to enjoy. This is physical mastery for my 5D mystics in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. So you'll learn if you're an Akashic record reader. You already might know this. I knew this, learned this from mental, emotion, physical planes. Now I know how to explain it in human terms. Do your left foot in and your right foot out and you're shake it all about. So you learn how to be your 1 year old first. And that's the part of longing. Let me talk about that for a minute. So for some people, we're the human love narrative over here at IHP, but some people would choose, and that's for other reasons we're not going to discuss, to stay within human suffering love. I know that people are going to be like, no, they're not choosing because they're determined. They have a conscious little bit of choice, but I get it because some people say that fate and destiny are, like consolidated. Those are 3D, 4D individuals. They have not tapped into their potential to generate their own diversity because they don't have the desire and or capacity. No, they don't have the I want to do emotions and thoughts and say they're not irrefutable facts, okay? So let's leave it alone. Zen masters who say there's laundry, you cannot be an enlightenment person. They're going to go say, yeah, there's that, and you're not it. And so that's what a Cusco does. They go and grab all the data. Here's the data that proves my point. I'm sharing with you different ways. Data is data from people, and what it is showing is that inner well-being is integration of the brain, and that people who have personality disorders are healable. So is trauma. Now there's wiggle room still of how far, how not. That's because they're building the data. It's only been since the 1970s, I believe, that they've discovered our actual embodied brain stuff, and that's because we are advancing. Okay, so any smart person, you ask me, they know yoga don't bring demons out of you. They know why mindfulness meditation helps. They know Reiki is not demonic energy of anything. Also, Akashic record readings, not dangerous. Again, tarot, not dangerous. They know this sphere of energy. We're in an era where we talk about that which is invisible because 97% one of dark matter, energy is what makes up our lovely infinite universe and whatnot. And so if you're a flat earther, great, then you're over there. If you're a person who knows data, then you're going to be over here. If you're a person who wants an excuse for why, no, everybody's fucked up. We're going to have our 0 1 year old be tortured because I don't want to return to a secure attachment, which was what I was supposed to have in my first year of life. I raise my hands and leave it alone. For any of those other spectrums, we have support systems. I learned from attachment trauma. Okay, therapists, the great ones, the good ones. We're getting to support people more and more for inner and outer well-being. So we do personal development here. We don't talk about all the other stuff. And guess what? If consciousness brains expand, well, we're going to see a lot more inner and outer well-being. And that's for, again, a side note. So empowered women, when we're in meaningful relationships, we will know how to share. Oh, this one's interesting. Okay. And I keep using that word because we will want to sit with our own emotions, because the part of not being confused is for clearly the part of us not knowing everything also clear. The part of us wanting to talk. And that's where wanting to be able to just consistently be seen and heard. That's why we know it's a tango. What's a tango? It's a dance. It's a dance based on you and others, okay, and on interest. So the healthy self-worth woman will know how to say no. You've heard the stories. If we meet people who don't have healthy boundaries, they can be women, men, they can be consistent members of our herd. It will not be something we will have any kind of doubt. We will actually present to you the full story, and in the absence of saying, hey, will you approve of me? It'll be, this is what it is. I'm not going to lie, because I'm an empowered 0 1 year old, 3 year old. I'm not afraid of you. I don't have a shame button. So you can say, and I'll be like, oh, I'll cry about it. I will leave and I will get over it, because that's the part of what a 0 1 year old can do when you are your own safe haven, secure base. The longing is not there because you will have tended in time. This is why it's a muscle. It's like a workout. Integration of the brain. It's with mindfulness, and the mindfulness is 3 pillars of the mind. So you get to do focused attention. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. Awareness, but see, awareness is where all that is certain and uncertain comes up. So for me, certainty and uncertainty, we deal with that with the main module of number 1 of the inner growth mindset. And then number 2 is from within. You deal with it from within. And number 3 is while going with the flow. Whose flow? Your flow. That's why it's all about being you. Okay, so your inner child leads the way from your own heart as you consistently work with the herd members out there, but you're leaning and leading a life that is fulfilling, because you keep on growing mental and emotional mastery until you're an inner child adult like this, and you move into neutrality and duality. And that's because you're always going to be Jacob with Isaac and Abraham. So that lovely rabbi gave me these personalities. Jacob is the objective, so you sit in neutrality. Isaac is the me, and Abraham is the other. So I got society out there. I got me on the inside. I'm not going to have to live a life based on the outside, but I'm going to know that society plays a role. So does existentialism, so meaning, which I give, because, at the end of the day, that's the secondary consciousness, the human condition. You live and you die. That's it. Put to the side all of that belief stuff for a minute. Put it all to the side, because otherwise it's going to taint the picture. So yes, if you're religious, I grew up with religion. I still love to see it out there, but that's because I love Jesus and God. But I know of God as the essence of love in life. So I don't love what I see from those organized groups and how they are bringing forth what is not love at all. Okay, so let's put all that to the side. I'm saying there's you, there's your brain, your mind, and there's your relationship. So society will play a role, but without shame, you'll be like, okay, I know society's a role. It's like when I present polyamory and people say, oh, all polyamory are masochists. And you're like, no, no, they're not. Or you got others, oh, you're traumatized because, you're twin flames. No, again, but that, I get it. You obviously have a situation with emotions and stuff that's yours. Let me leave it alone. So when people want to define you, that's your society. When you have no shame because you're not looking for, again, them to say, oh, wow, great job or bad job. Basically, you're like, that doesn't match my actual reason. And so that's where you're just going to say no. When on the other hand, you are contemplating how to share that. And this was where I don't remember when, but that is where conversations and beautiful conversations are created. Okay, so there is a difference between that which will be completely exciting and that which will be completely like, oh, am I going to be accepted? Okay, but you still share it. So even in those moments, you're like, I'm afraid to tell you this, but here's the deal, okay? And stuff like that. And you find out that there's nothing to be afraid of because people who love each other, they walk a walk and talk a talk because they accept who they are. They don't say, you need to be this monoamory or polyamory. No, they say, okay, we will accept. That's it. Okay. So there's that. And I know some people, they like that movie Grease. Yeah. Where they change for each other. That's not how it works. Empowered women, men and days don't change for each other. That is actually where some of us, we don't change at all because we're an expanding piece of consciousness, but people will want to argue with us. So we'll say, fine, I grew up. Yeah, I got 0 1 year old me, 3 year old 5. Okay, is that better? I'm a piece of expanding consciousness. I'm a verb, not a noun. So I'm flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. So if people want to say, no, no, Maria, you have to say that you've changed. Yeah. As an expanding piece of I'm presence, I've changed, always with Jacob, Abraham, and Isaac, and it's my 3 year old world, not yours, in my body. So there's many different ways that we can engage in how there's no laundry here. There's emotions, they're welcome, self-regulating, because your nervous system is what you're working out, and the brain, again. So awareness, for me, certainty and uncertainty didn't bring up any traumatized stuff. My trauma charges, yes, because we all have child charges, but see, they stop at the age of 16. By 16, I was actively a conscious lover of myself, saying, I'm not changing for you, teenage boyfriend. And that's why, for me, there's no charges that built. There's processing that took place. And here's where, when you then meet other meaningful connections, again, you process. What do you process? You understand where you fit within your herd. And so while the majority of our lovely 2024 is the year, our monoamory, we know the polyamory that we're a minority. Don't need to go around telling everybody to do this. No, actually, I'm going to say, here's my personal opinion. Until you're a not securely attached self, yeah, you're not going to enjoy. So this is why secure attachment is essential for you to be able to regulate your nervous system and that longing of your 0 1 year old to be seen so you can be soothed and safe and secure. But when you're able to say, you know what, nothing lasts forever, not because you don't believe, but because you create your own fairy tale, you create your own life, but really because we all could die from today, next day to the next. Okay, so it's a fact that nothing lasts forever, but not in a way of being cynical in the heart. Although some will think of it and say that's cynical, but if your heart is in a space of love, it's more like, no, I'm just sharing what is a truth in the absence of a positive or negative charge. I'm in equanimity. I'm a securely attached integrated brain who's able to present with a Jacob personality. I'm spelling out something objective in the absence of I like it or dislike it. That's an emotionally mature, mentally mature person who knows, one, emotions, thoughts. Again, let's put it to the side. Two, I'm presenting a data point. Do I like it? It doesn't matter. As a human with secondary consciousness, personally, I already, a long time ago, again, notice nobody is forever. Why? Well, let's see. If I'm here right now and you walk out, you're not forever. So I can take it literally. Some people say, well, that's exaggerated. Well, is it? Because I've given myself a level of certainty with the uncertainty in the absence of a charge. And therefore, when I am ever in my right and left, which is what happens with an empowered woman, I know that I'm going to be a clear slate. Here's Purusha, pure consciousness, unconditional love. Why? Because my 0 1 year old doesn't long for you from here. I know that if I do, I want a hug and I want to get excited. And if I get afraid, and that's because I might be rejected, I'm afraid you're going to reject me because I'm, different. And this word different makes me think of when I was a teenager, because that's the only time that I have a story. We'll talk about the story. So there's this guy. He's really tall. He's still alive, I think. I don't know. Oh, I will probably never see this person again. In fact, I remember the last image of this human being was where I came in all excited because I had bought some new shoes. It wasn't for him, but then again, we can say that I had a little bit of hopes because it was platforms. And this dude, we would consistently flirt, but he would point out how because of my height, we would not ever be able to be a couple because it looked aesthetically unpleasing, which is obviously very superficial, FYI. But I got it, so whatever. Also, it's a lie. We got plenty of talls and shorts together, and I had at a certain point a very, very tall boyfriend. So anyways, I'm what, 15? This is before the teenage boyfriend. So yeah, I'm just enjoying being a teen and having fun. This is where I would say, there's all these fish in the sea. Why are you all upset? So I'm not a drama queen and I don't know any drama kings. I mean, I did meet some of them eventually, but that's a whole other story. Not with me, like friend drama kings. Very few, but yeah, there are some of them out there. And I'm sure some people will have thought of me, by the way, as a drama queen, because when you have those close people that every now and then that you will talk to, you'll share the depths of you. And the depths of you can be welcome, but there's people who misunderstand those depths, is how I'm going to say it. And at the same time, it's because they care. But you learn in time, in fact, how to make sure that you don't share with people who don't understand what expressing is. And see, understanding is important because that's shut the left mode up. Your right mode is doing nothing. And I have empowered women and men friends that I know are there. So I know that if we want to share emotionally, nobody is judging in any way, shape, or form. They're not saying you are traumatized. They're not saying you are ruminating. They're not doing any of it. And that's exactly because they're not doing any of that either. They use their prefrontal cortex. It's called we accept certainty and uncertainty with neutrality because it's a truth. And because we've worked through that which would be a dilemma for the existentialist psychologist, and any person who has awareness of their emotions and thoughts and doesn't bullshit themselves says, wow, well, I'm not going to be the Zen master who still has laundry. I'm going to be a person who knows this is an emotional stuff and I can actually process it through inner reflection. Okay, brain, so what is going on? Well, I have this longing thing. And, even if I didn't know that 0 1 year old, now I do. It's, well, I don't like the idea that I'm going to be all by myself and who knows when I'm going to die. And, well, that emotion, what is it? Well, it's called, I don't know. It could be sadness. For me, sadness, not fear, unless it's panic attack mode, and anger, no, because that's about correction. So it's only if, no, it's been a long time. I don't correct people. I learned how not to when they tell me who I am because there's just so many people who think they can know you better than you can. In fact, there's people who say, you can't know your unconscious. Really? Try me. No, I don't try me because I won't be able to prove it to you. You just prove to me that you don't know your unconscious, but I do know my inner child. She's right here. And if I say something, I'm saying it because I want to say it, not because I'm trying to do anything. But hey, let me be the bearer of news. FYI, I learned this as a teenager. Can't prove intent. You're going to try, Maria? Nope. I'm going to try to disprove. Nope. I'm going to try. Nope. I'm not trying anything. You keep speaking. I'm just going to look at you with a blank stare. That's what I learned how to do as a teenager. And then I learned how people don't like that. And then I said, so you want me to lie to you? Because I keep telling you something different. You keep giving me something different. And then I don't want to keep arguing either. But you keep telling me that I can't say things the way I'm wanting to say it. So I don't know which way. Just make up your mind. And this is why, again, empowered women, when it's meaningful, we're just always going to speak our mind. And if you don't want us to, we're going to say, okay, I can't do that. I mean, I can. What you're asking me to do, though, is to be silent. So I might as well not be here. Just going to go somewhere else where I'm allowed to speak. Okay. And here's where that teenage boy that I was talking about. Yeah. So what he does is don't think with your platforms that we can be together. And then that moment, I was like, one, that's not love. He definitely doesn't know what love is. Two, what an asshole, because he's still flirting. Three, well, who cares? I'm flirting too. And on that note, we never dated. In fact, it was purely, these little stupid interactions, quote unquote. It was fun. And then when I did get told at a certain point, eventually, that I should not share my thoughts on topics, yes, we'll talk a little bit about that one. So this has happened more than once, but in different ways. When I was directly told in this instance, it was by somebody that we were actively an item. And that's when I got really furious and said, huh, so you're telling me not to be myself. This doesn't sound like what partners are supposed to do. So let me ask again. I don't remember exactly what I said. I just said, look, I'm coming because now I have to come. Don't invite me anymore. Don't let me be around them unless I really have to, because obviously, as a person, I'm going to support you. But you just told me not to be me, and that really doesn't work that way. So this is where we're gonna not revisit this again, but don't repeat the incident. Is basically just don't invite me. You go have fun, and I'll have fun with others, and that's that. Here's what happens again when you're empowered. You're not lecturing in let me shame you. No, I'm not going to shame, not blame. The feeling is you just told me that I, again, will not be able to be me, which means I'm not agreeing to what, I'm not canceling myself out. This is a request that makes no sense, is the feeling that I can tell you. The furious part is because how dare you not stand up for me if you're with me? That's also contradiction. Makes me wonder, should I ask you? Because really, and it's not about being the same in the way you think, it's about accepting and appreciating and knowing, look, I'm with a person who I know who they are. Because, oh, by the way, when you tell people who you are and they don't believe you, this is the other part. It's like, okay, I'm actually spelling it out to you. And there are those who will say, well, there are people who think people change. And I say, yeah, I know, but I specify I won't. And the fact that a person later on doesn't remember it makes me think, you didn't hear my words, huh? So, FYI, 44, I have the same way I handle my situations. And when I have friends, you know, I think you put, what are they called? You put up, no, I'm not putting up anything. I'm spelling out, this is who you got. So that I can avoid in the future saying, I thought I told you, or no, the future. So, FYI, some people don't say anything about who they are, and then they end up, in fact, giving, I'm not going to say they give up. They leave alone aspects of themselves. So I'm more of, this is Maria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we can move forward with our relationship, however it may develop. And that is actually always going to work really well for anyone who's an empowered woman, man, or they, because people will know, like with my lovely host stuff. I don't like to use words, but I want you to know who your host is. And that's the only reason. And also because that way you can know what topics we talk about. So, with that being said, empowered is the one word that I keep on trying to ensure you understand. It's about emotional and mental awareness. You're not empowered if you have envy, jealousy, or spite. It's an emotion and stuff that exists, or however they translate it, but it's something you work out of if you choose to be yourself authentically. And I like to break things down humanly, not with fancy words. So, emotional intelligence is one of the ways. You can be in a flow state is another. Neurofeedback, all these buzzwords and words that mean something to those who talk within the academic field. We do self-help personal development for people who want to build organically beautiful relationships, by the way, and to be here to support people who are getting out of those childhood trauma, personality disorders. And I was going to share one more story. Which one was it? Well, basically, when we are not okay with people, we will do our best to consistently not engage at all. If we're presented with the cornering of somebody making us aware that they wanted to be seen and now that they were not seen in 3 years of plus growing, it's like, okay, really? Well, your 1 year old isn't going to go anywhere, and I'm still seeing you, but I'm not going to soothe or say that I'm going to be your secure connection, because I'm not. I'm not going to say you're not decent either. I'm just going to say you are a person, and I'm not building a secure connection because I don't want to do any secure base. I'm not interested in your interests. Not interested in your nervous system, safe haven. I definitely don't want to engage in any way, shape, or form with the embodiment of you, because you and I don't vibe, and I'm not in your tribe, and I don't want to be. And I thought I had made it clear by consistently choosing the right silence, but then you went and opened a can, and the can is of whatever worms you want. So when you think somebody can, again, stick around so forever, the truth is we all could try and say that. Anybody who's a realist, then a realist with a heart open and a brain open, and basically like the smile you see on his face, it's more of, this is enlightenment, the soul age group human way. So Sadhguru talks about not being enslaved by attachment. And I just say, your 0 1 year old can be free. Let me go find that quote because that way, love is freedom and joy. Attachment is bondage and misery. And what I can tell you is that the Human Suffering Love Group, yes, it's very sad. Here's where. For most people, love means you must do what I want. No, love means they can do what they want and we still love them. Exactly. So the Human Suffering Love, they don't get their 0 1 year old on par. We do what we can to support them. We give them a hug. We listen to them. They go back to doing their thing. And then the next day, it's one of those things. Again, the most precious thing is life itself. Will you realize this now or only on your deathbed? Thank you, Sadhguru. I really feel for people who don't know that they can get their emotional and mental plane on par. But then I see things like this. I don't want to do personal development. I want life now. Or I see things like this. Since the therapist said I'm doing a good job, I don't want to journal and do mindfulness because why would I? Everybody's fucked up. Or here's the list of attributes. Come follow me. And oh, by the way, you can't trust any of the people that have my exact diagnoses. Really? No. I know people who are healing and they're doing a way better job at humanizing. And again, Dr. Daniel Fox, please come on over. So we want to create a world of people who know people are people and nobody's a demon. There's a 0 1 year old in every one of you. And if you don't know, the first 3 years of your life, like mine, are implicit memory. And so if there's any type of emotional stuff, we talked about that in a short one. Yeah, it's EMDR, child parts work, somatics, and it's to be taken seriously, not to be created an Elsa journey story. That's for the people who don't want to actually do what is called emotional lifting as childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing, Patrick Tian points out. So for the cowardice, we know that some people are not ready to face, but we know that hurt people who hurt people, they do have an option in 2024. They don't have to hurt themselves and they don't have to hurt others. So while again, Storyland is 3D, 4D, 5D land is we're humans, we have answers, and spirituality and sciences go together. And I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality. So when you do personal development and self-help seriously, you say, oh, my 0 1 year old, I don't long to be seen, to be soothed, to be safe, to be secure, to be myself because I'm going to achieve it here and I'm going to share it in the world. And whenever I'm interacting, that's my oversoul. I get the opportunity to keep saying, here's who I am, here's who I am, here's who I am. And when people try to say, you really shouldn't do that, I'm going to do that. So the last time one of my she's a good girlfriend of mine. I was like, okay, look, I know this is your opinion. That's your opinion. I have my own opinion, and it is I'm going to present immediately because I don't build short-term relationships. I build long-term relationships, and I'm going to plan always on that because why would I waste 1 second of my time with you in any way, shape, or form if I'm not going to walk a walk and talk a talk? Because time is short. So the sooner we get on par with where we're headed, no, not that. I find it meaningful to befriend you. I'm not building a facade. That's all. So see, when you build meaningful and you begin that, because why would you not? Again, do you hang out with people you don't enjoy? As a teenager, I don't hang out with people I don't enjoy. If I enjoy you, I hang out with you. If I don't enjoy you, I won't be hanging out with you. I won't tell you. I won't hang out. If I'm around people I don't like, it's because I'm around the ones that are bringing me with them, which is exactly why I got to learn how to completely disengage by saying, okay, look, I love you. I want to be with you. Not boyfriend, girlfriend material, because polyamory, we don't use the solo poly titles like that. No. With people that are friends, you say, okay, you're friends, not my friends. No. So that's it. You choose, selective. That's why when some people say, you're picky, and I say, no, then they say, yes, you are. They say, wait, you're right, but I'm not a snoot. No, but you're picky. Sure, picky is healthy boundaries, but it's not because there's not a bounty full of interesting men and women out there, by the way. Intellectually and emotionally mature people, they're all a pleasantry. I'm talking about people like when I'm told you can't speak about your polyamory, your mysticism, and or da 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 da, and I'm like, wow. Okay, then, you know what? I think, and I find out these things on my own, by the way, so I'm pretty good. My nose does a pretty good job at being with the people who are going to say, wow, look, we got our woo-woo over here. And that's why you build a herd and you hang out with that herd. The ones who hang out with other herds, you say, okay, with that herd, no, with this herd, yes. And then when it comes to building a Sandcastle. Well, that's a whole different story because you have to sit down and say, okay, logistics. Now we need to break it all up. How are we going to handle 24 hours, limited time? Love is infinite. So, what are we doing? And that's why meaningful relationships, they're really fun for all of us because that's what it means to be radically you without being blue about, the 0 1 year old. So, nobody is always going to be here forever. It's not a sad thing once you get over it as you get older. I got over it, thank you, Marcus Aurelius, because he said, why would you worry about something, Maria, that you can't do anything about? And he didn't speak to me directly, but I took that to heart. It's like, he's right. So I'm going to keep moving forward. And I did. And here you have a host right now who shares with you about empowered women's stories. And hopefully you have enjoyed. I made it a little bit funnier than usual, I think. I don't know. You'll let me know. Okay, like, share, subscribe if you would like. And that way we can grow the channel and get to that 1K. And you'll have Ask Maria as one of those membership options for personal development, self help. Dear Maria, I'm dealing with this situation. Can you tell me? Depends. I don't know what you would want. Can you give me your attachment thoughts? Can you give me your human thoughts? Can you give me your empowerment woman, mystic thoughts? It depends. You'll use your words. I use mine. So have a wonderful day.